What's going on, guys? So it is 3:46 p.m. right now, and I have literally been up for only 4 hours. Now you're gonna think like 4 hours is 3:46 p.m. How is that so? I literally woke up at 12 p.m. today. That is completely not normal for me. I never get up that late. Like maybe 9, maybe sometimes 10, once every couple of weeks. But 12 p.m. that never happens. And I was actually up at 5:30. I was up to like 8, and then I went back to sleep because my body just felt demolished. Honestly, like my brain was not on point. My cognition was not on point, energetically, physically, like it just felt like my body was inflamed. And I was just like, man, I don't think I can work right now. We even go for a run. The crazy part is that this morning was like 50 degrees. You can kind of tell it's still kind of cloudy right now, but it was like the perfect weather to go for a run. And I was like, man, I really want to get like 10, 12 miles in today. And I did it. I could have pushed past. I could have said, screw your feelings and all this David Goggins stuff. But at the end of the day, like I kind of already do that to a certain degree. And so I was like, man, I think I'm pushing my body a little too much. And like, I got to really, really recover. And I've talked to you guys about the things that I do with biohacking and sleep, but I've never really gotten super in depth as to why I do it and why you should too. And so I see my body, and this is what I'm going to ask you guys to do, is that look at yourself and look at your body as if you were a Ferrari body. What does that mean? So I'm not telling you that you gotta like Ferrari or not, but just think about the idea behind Ferrari and how they take care of their cars and why they're valued so long. Can you imagine somebody driving a Ferrari and just fully gassing it all day, every single day to the full capabilities, and then on top of that, adding really cheap gas to it? What would happen? That car would probably blow up. And not literally blow up, right? But the engine would blow up pretty quickly, or you might waste it down pretty quickly, right? When it comes to very, I don't want to say expensive cars, but very high performance vehicles, you have to take care of them so good so that they can actually function at that high level, right? There's a reason why they're able to beat out in races all these different types of cars, right? Not just Ferrari, but any other type of car of that caliber. But it's because of how well they take care of the engine, right? How well they built it and how well they take care of it. Our bodies are literally the exact same thing. As a high performer myself, and every high performer that I know, a lot of them do the exact same thing. Like, how can you possibly optimize your body to the point where you feel limitless? If that is the case, right, then what has sleep be so important? Like, what is actually happening during sleep that gives us the ability to be able to recover that well? And now look, I'm not telling you to go sleep 10, 12 hours every single day, because I don't sleep 10, 12 hours every day. It's not really necessary. Some people do require like 9 hours a day, believe it or not, right? Depending on your workload mentally, physically, how much you're pushing yourself. Like the top athletes in the world sleep 10 hours a day, right? So again, I'm not a top athlete. I don't know if you are either, but if you are trying to be a high performer in something, if you feel like you're not able to keep pushing further and further and further and you're gassing out, it's most likely because you're metabolically messing up your body, right? And one of the best biohacking techniques, probably the best out of everything that is out there, is sleep. Sleep and the hyperbaric chamber, I have found to be two of the best things that you can possibly ever do. I've done saunas, I've done cold plunges, supplements, peptides, all these different things. They all help, but sleep, man, by far the best thing. The hyperbaric chamber, which I've shown in some of my videos, it's the exact same thing. It's like getting twice as much recovery in less time. I don't know the exact math behind it. I don't even know if there is a way, but I've noticed my runs are easier. My work performance is better. I'm actually highly considering buying a hyperbaric chamber because of how well I saw my body and my mind perform in December and January. So in December and January, I was doing a hyperbaric chamber almost every single day, or at least every other day. It's basically like sleeping, but on steroids is what I would call it. When we are in sleeping or in a hyperbaric chamber, like what's actually happening? And so four of the things that are happening is there's muscle growth happening, right? Your tendons, your ligaments, and everything, all that is recovering so that you can actually keep performing physically. Your brain is literally cleaning itself, and it's getting rid of all the brain waste and removing all the bad stuff and junk in your mind that you might be like, well, I don't really have any of that. And you might not, right? It might be very minimal, but brain damage is obviously one of the most common things that is linked to Alzheimer's, right? Why do people get Alzheimer's? And it's because of excess beta amyloid. And so when you have an excess amount of that, when your body and your mind aren't actually cleansing it out, that's where all these different conditions start happening. And then the other two important things that happen when you're sleeping or using a hyperbaric chamber is A, it lowers your inflammation, which is what allows your body to recover faster. And then D, which is the fourth thing, is your hormones get optimized. So if your hormones are out of whack, everything will seem difficult. Everything will seem hard. Most people like don't really like think about these things. Most people just kind of push past, but most people don't even end up realizing that they're nowhere near performing at their optimal level. And so that's why there's moments where, you know, I'll sleep 6 to 8 hours daily. And when I need to, I'll sleep an extra hour or so. And then maybe sometimes once every other month, I'm like, man, I'm hitting a wall. I'm getting off caffeine and I'm just gonna sleep a ton. And today, I was not planning on that, but I was just like, man, I'm like feeling really burnt. And so I don't know if it was lack of sleep. It might've been a little bit because of that, but I think I might've been coming down with something. But after sleeping 12 hours a day, I feel like an absolute unit right now. So it's just crazy how much of a difference it makes and how much people don't pay attention to that. What are the costs of not doing this? I've kind of mentioned some of these already, but I'll go to them really quickly, right? When you're sleeping 5-6 hours a day, and I know people who can function on those hours, which is crazy, but I don't think that's most people. I think that's a very select small percentage of people who are either very hormonally optimized or genetically just don't really need it. But most people do. And so when you're not sleeping enough, your cognition goes down, your energy goes down, your physical strength goes down, your ability to focus goes down, everything starts getting jacked, right? Inflammation starts climbing, and then that just creates this snowball effect, not in a positive way, in a negative way. And so it ends up getting harder and harder and harder, you know, to keep performing. If you're not feeling any of that, then that's great. That means you're keeping yourself healthy. But if you're seeing any signs of that, you should really, really consider tracking everything you're doing when it comes to sleep, because it is by far the strongest biohacking move that you can make. The last thing that I'll leave you guys with is like, how do you actually optimize sleep, right? So the first part is really just getting enough sleep, right? Can you at least sleep 7 to 9 hours daily? Like, can you actually make yourself do that? That is the first and I think the hardest challenge for most people, because people like staying up watching TV or going out with their friends, and they got to wake up early for work or do things, and then it just kind of ends up, you know, dragging, and you're kind of putting yourself in a deficit. But if you can get yourself to that point, the next thing that you should do, and you don't have to get your 9 hours of sleep to do this, that's the primary one. But the second thing you could do is having a cool room. Like, I'm talking about like 68 degrees at all times, because it allows your body to calm down. And when your body's calm, your HRV climbs, your resting heart rate drops, and then you're actually able to get to the third thing, which is then proper deep sleep, right? So when we're sleeping, we have light sleep, we have REM sleep, and we have deep sleep. Deep sleep is when your body is properly recovering physically. And then REM sleep, right? So you need to get both of these, at least 2 to 3 hours of each, ideally. REM sleep is when your body's literally paralyzed, and that's your dream state. That's when your mind is actually recovering, and that's the part where you're having dreams. So the more dreams you have, the more you're in the REM stage, your brain's actually recovering more. So I've noticed that when I get 3 to 4 hours of REM and deep sleep combined, it's when I feel the best. And usually when that doesn't happen, when I'm not actually getting not just a lot of sleep, but efficient, effective sleep, it tends to be because I'm in a cool room, my body's calm, I'm eating clean, which is another factor towards getting proper sleep. And then the other one is not eating so late, right? If you're hormonally optimized and you eat pretty clean for the most part, if you eat late and the food you're eating is still very whole food, you'll probably be fine. But most people, again, don't do that, right? If you're gonna eat something that's just not really healthy, unless your body is actually on point, you will not be able to get away with it, right? I've seen people who can get away with it and they sleep really great. I'm personally not one of those. Like, if I eat something that's just really heavy, my sleep gets all jacked up. And so I use this Whoop band, and the Whoop band basically tells me how well I'm sleeping. And it is one of the best investments I've ever made. I think it's like $30 a month, and you probably pay like $50 for the band, is I believe what it costs today in 2026. Guys, I'm telling you, if you do all these things and you track your sleep with the Whoop band, you can then start, not only now that you're tracking all these little details, and I would suggest tracking other things outside of the Whoop band, you can then see where to move the needle. You can then see what changes to make, to basically take out, to stop doing, or to actually introduce and start doing. And you can see how well your recovery on the Whoop band is actually happening within your body. Even without the Whoop band, like, you can literally feel it. And it's just crazy how much more I actually do in a day when my sleep is on point. If you are not treating your body like a Ferrari, I am telling you, it will be one of the best game changers of all time. I have committed myself to having that be one of the number one things that I focus on in order to be a high performer. That and the food that I eat. If those two are on 100% point, man, like I can literally do anything, like anything. And so it's just crazy how much of a difference it makes. And it sucks because I wasted years trying to perform at a high level with very little sleep, right? There was all this stuff on social media going on 6, 7, 8 years ago. Like, hey, I'll rest when I'm dead, right? Kobe Bryant used to say that all the time. But Kobe Bryant also had access to God knows how many different things to recover, right? LeBron James right now, one of the best athletes in the world. I know he's not the only one. They spend $500,000, $2 million a year to recover as fast as possible, right? Probably getting massages every other day. They have a hyperbaric chamber, sauna, cold plunges, like everything else that you can possibly think of. And so that obviously is going to help them recover faster, but we're not them. We're not sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars. What can we do right now to help with that? I'm telling you guys, the number one thing is sleep. You get that on point and you will literally do anything that you want. That is all I got for you guys today, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.